Okay, everybody, hello. It is I, Mr. Mike from OldFreakyGamer.com, to bring you this special video review on top of my article review, which is, as I typed it out here, I'm looking at my article right in front of me on the other computer screen here, and it's 12 pages long. 12 pages long to review the Xbox Rog Ally X system. Not a gaming console, not a gaming handheld. Well, it is a gaming handheld, but it's not an official Xbox made by Microsoft. It is a partnered Xbox handheld PC made by Asus of the Rog Ally fame and designed to be more Xbox-like. And I've been playing with this since it launched a bit ago. And I'm here to talk about it finally on my final thoughts about this handheld that Microsoft likes to still claim that it is an Xbox, which it is a PC. Let's not jump to conclusions here. It is not an Xbox, purely Xbox, that most people would think about it as. You know, it can't play pure Xbox games, like pure Xbox console games like your Xbox Series games or your 360 or Xbox One games without a little bit of help, that is. Now, if you have, and I said this many, many times in many, many things and many videos and podcasts that I do and all that, if you have an Xbox Series X or S, or if you still have an Xbox One console that you still play games on, and it's connected to the internet and it has your Xbox profile and all that, you can play all the games that you can play on those consoles remotely streamed to your Xbox Rog Ally X system. Basically, you can stream them to any system. I can stream them onto my phone here, that they would consider this an Xbox. If I open it up, oh look, it could be a big Xbox right there because my phone is a Moto Flip, so I can open it up and turn it into an Xbox. I can use it on my TV through the apps. I can use it through this Mega PC here. I can use it through any other TV that has the Xbox app to it. You can use it on a Roku. I don't think you can use it on a Roku box, but you can use it on an Amazon Stick, Fire Stick. The ones that are specially, that they consider Xbox compatible Fire Sticks, let's just say. And you can stream stuff. You can stream stuff to a browser. So any computer or machine that has a browser that you can do stuff, a modern browser. Not one of those older browsers that barely work, but I'm talking about a modern browser on them. And you can play your Xbox games through the internet on those as well, remotely. But if you want a really good experience, more ways than one, and you want to mostly play those PC games out there, and you want to play them on a handheld, and you might be sick of sitting in front of a big computer, sucking up a bunch of energy and power and stuff all the time, and you don't want to go play on a TV set because maybe you want to watch a movie in the background or a TV show or something, or just listen to some music or something in the background. You don't want to be gaming on a big screen TV for some reason, like I don't half the time. 99% of the time now I play either via these PC monitors or I play through my handheld, my Xbox Rog Ally X system, because it is just better for me, and I changed my ways of my gaming habits, and let's just say it is a good way to play games on that. Like I said, PC games, stream games from the cloud, because of course they do their cloud play, and that's what they like to push a lot of the times. but also remote play, which a lot of people forget about or they just don't know about, or they don't even know how to do it. And it's not really that hard. You just got to set your console up in the settings to remote play and all that, and it tells you how and all that, and what you need to have connected or turned on and off, and you got to have a decent Wi-Fi connection. Basically, they state, which everybody would state, you should have a Wi-Fi 6E or better connection. So your Wi-Fi should be 6E or better. I have Wi-Fi 6E. They're coming out with Wi-Fi 7, but you want a good Wi-Fi. They basically say 6. I say 6E because 6E is even more powerful. Or if you have a direct connection to a Ethernet jack, like if your console's directly connected to a switch or something, a network switch, or to a router and stuff, and your computer's connected to the same router, you can game through that, remote play through that to your main computer if you wanted to, and that's a direct connection, and that's probably the best way you can play something like that. Now, like I said, we're talking about the Xbox Rog Ally X here and what it can play and what it can't play. It is a kind of Xbox, but it's not. Like I said, it's basically a computer, handheld computer with gaming options on it, and it does what I consider a very good job at doing so. Now, you hear a lot of hatred about it. You hear a lot of people that say, oh, I'd rather play on SteamOS and all that. But what they don't like to tout you is that, oh, even though we can play most games, not all, but most of these games that they want to play on a SteamOS system or unit, they don't tell you that, oh, we got to down our settings dramatically to play on the SteamOS. Sure, it could play very decently well, but most likely they're going to have to really push those settings and lower those settings really far down to be able to play on a device like the SteamOS or a Steam Deck or something like that, using one of those things. Or a lot of people say, well, I'll just play on my own little gaming computer or whatever, and that's great. That's great until you just don't want a big gaming laptop on your lap, or you don't want, like I said, a big giant computer creating a bunch of heat and sucking up a lot of electricity, and your costs are going way high. Like I said, the middle ground, something like this. And there's a lot of competition. Asus, as I would have to say, was the first to come out with one of these gaming handheld devices, which I think they were really inspired by Nintendo Switch at the time. If I was to talk to the people at Asus, I bet you they were like, oh, look at that Nintendo Switch. That's interesting. I wonder if we can make something like that, and that's what they did. So, would you prefer something like this over one of those other Nova Legion Go's or something like that? Well, this is what I'm going to tell you about right now. This is basically my simplified review compared to my article, which I consider going to OldFreakyGamer.com to read. That's where I have it on my website at OldFreakyGamer.com to read my Asus ROG Xbox Ally X review, because you're going to want to read what I got to say. And if you like to get all the deeds, and here, I'm just going to say it, even though I'm still sort of an Xbox fanboy in general here, I am a gamer in general. It doesn't matter if it's Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC, console. It doesn't matter to me. As long as it's got games that I want to play and the device, is something really cool that I want to play with, I will do that. If it's something that I just don't want to do anymore, because like lately I just I'm not playing PlayStation games on a PlayStation anymore, because I don't feel like the value of owning a PlayStation nowadays is up to my standards. It could be up to a lot of other people's standards or biases or something like that. I'm not like that. If I can play these games on a PC, I will. Same thing with this. Like I said, this can play PlayStation games right now if they're available in the Steam store. So what does that make? Does that make this an Xbox, PlayStation, whatever, instead of Nintendo device? Unless if you put ROMs on it, then you could play Nintendo games on it. So what is this thing? It's an all-out gaming thing. Whatever you can play on Windows computers, you can play on this. Now, Are you the kind of person that likes to play with joysticks or something like that, or do you like to play with keyboard and mouse? Now, if you like to play with a keyboard and mouse, you can still do that with this system, but then you're just probably going to have to set it up with your TV or monitor or something like that. That means it's more clutter, more stuff to do and stuff like that. You could put this on a stand and you can use the little screen and you can hook up a Bluetooth keyboard or mouse or a wired Bluetooth or mouse, because now this thing has 2 USB-C ports instead of just one. So you got 2 options to plug stuff into. So, or you could plug in a hub and plug in multiple things. You got a lot of choices with this. It is a great device. There is a lot of greats to it. There's a bit of downs to it as well, and I'm going to go through that in my article. I might speak about a little bit of here in the review, but you want to read my article at OldFreakyGamer.com. But why don't we get through this here, as I'm going to quickly click on through my little thing here. And excuse me if I get some of this wrong here, but here we go. So this is the original ROG Ally Extreme device. That's what it was called, the Asus ROG Ally Extreme. This was the first generation ROG Allies before the Xbox ROG Ally X came out and stuff like that. So you can tell the difference. This looks like an Xbox controller with a screen in the middle of it, and this looks like a first-gen device. Now, this is my first-gen ROG Ally device. I had this when it was launched back, over 3 years ago right now, and I had tons of fun with it. It was one of my most mainstream type of handheld PC / Xbox gaming devices that I would play. I could play it inside. I could play it outside. I took it everywhere I was, which is mostly around my house, but still, it played nicely outside. It plays nicely inside. It's very bright screen, stuff like that. And it's a very basic system. You can tell it's very basic. It is a first gen device, and even though I loved playing it, it had its drawbacks. Like, as you can tell, the way it looks, it's just a big, mostly rectangular device. There was no curves. There's no handles to it. And eventually I got a lot of palm and achiness in my joints and stuff in my hands and palms for playing this for a very long time. And It was that, and it was big too. It was big top to bottom, so it was harder to get to sometimes the controls. I had to hold it up a little higher than that. Now, if you look at, like I said, the Xbox ROG Ally Extreme here, and I'm going to say it that way. Sure, it's the Asus ROG Xbox Ally X, but for me in this video, and I like to say it also in my article sometimes, I like to call it the Xbox Rog Ally X because it rolls off the tongue better. So forgive me for not calling it the official name in this video. You don't hate me for that. It's just how I think I like it to roll. But anyways, back to this. You look at it, it's got the nice handles, the nice grips and stuff, just like an Xbox controller. The button placement is a little bit better. It's a little bit thinner. It's a little bit bulkier, but it's a little bit thinner as well. But it has a good weight to it, and it plays a lot better than my original ROG Ally device here. Even though this device was a little lighter and thinner, it still was. Even though hours and hours of gameplay later that I would play on it, I would have some hurting hands at the end of the day. So it wasn't always the best experience ever on this thing. Talking about the new Xbox ROG Ally X here, why don't we go into basically what can it play, what can it play, stuff like that. Now, there are compatible games, or they like to call it ROG compatible. I don't even think they call it. I think they just call it portable compatible games, or these can be played on a handheld. These are handheld compatible games, stuff like that. And you can see them in the Xbox store. It's basically exclusive to the Xbox store. Microsoft and their Xbox store does this now for handheld devices. I think Steam also, yeah, I shouldn't say think. I know Steam does this also for like their Steam Deck games and stuff from Steam OS, and what works on the Steam Deck, what doesn't, what partially works, stuff like that. They like to give you a general idea. And most of the time you would think, oh yeah, that's something very reliable and stuff like that, and you should go by those settings. But sometimes I find out that maybe even their own personal settings and stuff and what they think they know and don't know is a little bit different than I found out in my testing of the Xbox Rog Ally X. And I wanted to test out a bunch of games that I know would push the Xbox Rog Ally X to its limits or beyond. So I tested out a bunch of games. Like I put on a bunch of games like Call of Duty, I should say, Call of Duty 6, Black Ops 6 or Black Ops 6, Doom the Dark Ages, Forza Motorsport proper. I also put on Forza Motorsport or Forza Horizon. Forza Horizon Motorsport, the latest one, whatever it's called, Forza Motorsport Horizon. I screw up that name a lot, but you know what I'm talking about. It's the Horizon version of Forza Motorsport. But Forza Motorsport proper, graphically intense, graphically amazing. If you play that game on a console, it looks amazing, but if you play it on a PC, it blows everything away with ray tracing, all that stuff. It is really beautiful. It can really push your CPU, GPU to great lengths. And it says, as you can see here, I wanted to test it out on my Xbox Rog Ally X, and it pops up the screen. When you first try to install it, it says, "We're sorry, but it looks like you may not be able or unable to launch the game due to the following. Unsupported CPU detected." And it gives you a little code there saying, this game is not compatible with my Xbox Rog Ally X. And I'm like, well, first off, when I first saw this message, I'm like, first off, Mr. Forza Motorsport app, yeah, unsupported CPU. My CPU is is the latest AMD. What is it called? The AMD not Zen. I should have kept the name with me. It's the Z2. Yes, the Z2. It's the AMD Z2 Extreme chip. You're telling me that this is x86 multi-core CPU, GPU on a chip, this SoC on a chip is not compatible with this, even though I was able to technically play this on the original ROG Ally Extreme. And I mean technically, meaning all the way on the lowest settings, and it's ran okay. It wasn't the best running on my original ROG Ally. So I said, screw the message. I went on, I continued to start up the game, and guess what? This game runs on the Xbox Rog Ally X. Now, for settings in the game, I was able to play this game on higher settings. Now, I should have took a screenshot of it. I did not. I took the screenshot of this, but I did basically screw up on the settings of that. But I found out and I knew this because like I said, I had the original, when I had the original Xbox or the original ROG Ally Extreme device, I knew about the whole Armory Crate and stuff like that, which you're going to want to have on your, installed on your Xbox ROG Ally X. I don't think it was originally, I think it was kind of originally installed, but they want you to use the Xbox part of it, but you can turn on Armory Crate for your system. And trust me, you're going to want it because a lot of settings that you might want to do to tweak out mainly the processor to get more performance out of your CPU, GPU on your device, you're going to need to get into Armory Crate to do so. If you want to change the memory settings, like store more memory for your video card, for your graphics, for your games like Forza and such like that, you can add that because now you got 24 gigabytes of RAM in this system. you can utilize and you can allocate some of that RAM going more to the graphics video card for the game and leave the rest for processes and stuff like that, which is beautiful because I only had 16 gigs of RAM in my original ROG Ally Extreme, so it was kind of hit or miss because I can only go up to 8 gigabytes of memory on this. I think I put up up to 14 gigabytes. I think I put up for my gaming VRAM, and then the rest is allocated for system, whatever is running in the background and stuff, the application itself for the game and stuff. So you're going to need Armory Crate to do so. And nowadays, it is more advanced than ever. It works very well for dedicated systems like this. I would not download Armory Crate for like your own computer or custom PC or something. I tried that and it does not work the same way as it does for like one of these handheld systems that Asus has built. They really did an amazing job of refining and making sure Armory Crate is the peak app for your ROG Ally device. Now, you can run all your games and everything else through Armory Crate. I suggest that there's no problem with it, but we'll get into in a little bit that maybe you want to stick with the Xbox experience because the Xbox experience does all the nicer stuff where if you're in the Xbox experience mode, it shuts down and cuts off a lot of those extra apps that Windows likes to run under the hood that you do not need if you're just doing gaming and stuff, and it shuts off all that other crap and turns it all off, and it utilizes that and extra horsepower and RAM and stuff for the games, which I find out is very, very good for your gaming needs, and it works pretty well. I notice a lot of differences if I'm just running a regular mode or gaming mode and stuff like that for higher intense games. And like I said, you can run both Armory Crate and the Windows experience together. There's no need to worry about that because you got a dedicated button for your Windows, for your Xbox stuff now, because it has the Xbox logo on one. And I'll go back to that again. So you have your, if I could get back to it, you have your Xbox logo on the one side, and then you have your Armory Crate on the top end of the left-hand side of the device. So you can choose from either or and not have to worry about, oh, will I be able to, how am I supposed to switch between the two? It makes it pretty easy, almost flawless. I wish you still didn't have to do it. I wish the Xbox user experience was able to do all that stuff and just incorporate what Armory Crate has done for the system to that. I do not know why, because Xbox is Microsoft and Microsoft is Windows, and you would think they would be able to do this stuff like the operating mode where you can change the settings of your CPU, GPU in that settings. But if you click on the Xbox app logo, you cannot do it. You can get into the system and do that, but you're going to have to do extra stuff to do that. But this makes it a lot easier, and that's why I like to have Armory Crate also running, because you can go into operating mode. And for like the Forza Motorsport, which Microsoft or Xbox stated it was not compatible, or the CPU wasn't compatible with the device, which it surely is, you just hit that, you put it in turbo mode. I highly suggest a game like that. Turbo mode, you might have to do certain games that use that need a lot of power to run, that basically are very resource intense kind of games. Put it in turbo mode. Make sure you got your VRAM settings, which you can change in Armory Crate, to at least 14 gigabytes utilized for that. Trust me, it'll make those games run a lot better, a lot smoother. Sure, you're running more power through it. You're running at 35 watts, but that's okay. That's what it's made for. And it's basically like overclocking, basically. Easy set overclocking. You don't have to go into the BIOS or anything. And then when you're done playing that super intensive game, if you're just going to be playing regular games, just put it in performance mode. That's where I usually keep it, in performance 17, into the 17 performance mode, and it runs basically every game quite well. And most of the games I play run very well in just the 17 hertz, should I say, performance mode. I never have any problems with that. I don't ever see any problems with that or anything like that. So like I said, I was running. Whoop, that didn't go off. So running Forza Motorsport, as you can see in my video here, that I've captured directly from my Xbox Rog Ally X. Sorry, my Asus Rog Ally Xbox. My Xbox Rog Ally X. See, this is why I say that. Directly capturing it while playing the game on the same device. So I'm capturing it through the capture of the Windows capture and playing the game at the same time. And as you can see, it is running flawlessly in the game. And, you know, I'm changing difficulty settings. Now, this game was running pretty decent. It was running at medium settings, I could tell you. Some stuff was low, but most of the stuff was running on medium settings in this game. So that was not bad at all. If I can run my games in medium settings, that is a pretty good deal, especially for a game like Forza Motorsport, which utilizes a lot of power. As you can tell, I'm just going through a lot of stuff here and going through a lot of Diddy stuff here. nothing really too crazy, but we'll just keep talking. So when we get up to the point of the game, and I could talk about the game more, we'll talk about it. But a lot of stuff they did right. A lot of stuff Asus has done right, and Microsoft helping them out as their partner did right with the system. Just by the aesthetics of the system, the look, the feel. Like I said, it feels like you're playing on an Xbox with a big screen in the middle. You know, they ripped the controller apart, put a screen in the middle. Feels really good and nice. You can get like an hour and a half to 2+ hours of normal battery life if you're playing a normal game. If you're running your games in turbo mode, you're going to get a lot less battery power. But what I've been testing on the regular 17 mode of the power mode, and I've been definitely getting a good amount of like a 2 hours and stuff like that in 17 watts. I've just been getting easily around 2 hours or something. I don't normally play my Xbox Rog Ally X and my games off the battery, because batteries don't last that long. You know, batteries, you got to upcharge them, downcharge them. You're constantly doing that. I like to play them plugged in. I like to plug in my USB-C and plug it into the wall. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that I have a USB-C cable. I got an extension cable for the outlet, the Xbox Rog Ally X outlet to USB-C port. I got the extension cable for that to plug into my Xbox Rog Ally X here, and I don't have any problems with that. I don't mind having the little wire out. It keeps powered up. I can play extra long sessions and stuff like that while it's still charging the battery if the battery is running a little low, because I am actually using it off the battery sometimes. But like I said, if you're just going to play like a couple hours of a game and you're running a regular 17 watts power mode on your system, or if you're running it lower, maybe you'll get even more on that. I haven't tested the lower modes because I usually just keep it at 17 because all the games run really nicely in that. Like I said, you get time varies, 1 hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours and something minutes on that, and that's not bad. That is not bad. As you can see, I am actually loading up I'm getting into the game now. I'm going into I think a practice session here of Forza Motorsport here. And like I said, it loads great. It looks great. Look at this. This is on, I think, like I said, medium settings, maybe a couple low settings here or there. Like I turned off the extra wet ray tracing thing. But as you look at it, look at the water, look at the glimmer, because it's raining in this session as well. This is a raining session. I think I don't know if I'm in a race here. I might be in a race, actually. No, I might be testing out. I'm testing it out because I'm seeing the bonus lap thing. I'm looking at the screen on a little screen here as I'm capturing my video play here, review here. And yes, I am doing a practice session, but as you can tell, it's raining because they do elemental effects in Forza Motorsport. And you can see the wetness. You can see all the shadowing and stuff. You can see the glimmer and the shine of my car and stuff. It looks pretty damn good, doesn't it? And this is being played and also captured on a Xbox Rog Ally X system. This is not being externally captured like I did for my stream and stuff. This is being captured on device and being shown to you right there. And that's not bad. That's not bad. I'm not able to fast forward, unfortunately, in this video here, I don't think. Let me see here. Can I fast forward this to I never knew how to do that. I think there was a way to do a fast forwarding thing, but I just don't think I ever did it before on oh wait, here we go. There we go. I can fast forward in my video. Holy shit. I figured it out right here in this review, folks. So I think I got a proper race here. So, okay, now we're going to get into a proper race. So I do my adjustments, stuff like that. Now we're in a proper race. Oh, I can go start off here. Look at all the cars on the screen. Look at all the stuff. It's raining even harder. The track is slick. As you can tell, it runs very well. I think it's running around 30-ish frames per second in the game. Most games, you're going to be running at 30 frames per second on the device, but it looks great. I'm trading paint with other cars, going not too fast because sometimes you got to go in these point turns and you got to go really slow. But when I'm getting up to speed, it is going. It is looking great. Every pixel, everything. I think I'm going to spin out here or something. I'm going to do something. Yeah, here I go. And I got to go rewind because I'm going way too fast around that corner. But as you can tell, it runs great. Even though it says the CPU is not supported, it runs great on my Xbox Rog Ally X. So that's not always a guarantee on that. But yeah, the game looks amazing. It runs great. This can do amazingly well for games like that. Also, talking about games that have been tested out, we got to talk about, Cyberpunk 2077. As you can tell here, running Cyberpunk 2077, and this is the Steam version, of course. I might as well should say that. So the Forza Motorsport game is from the Xbox PC store. This is from Steam. So this is a Steam game because they do not sell this on the Xbox PC store. And as you can tell by me taking screen captures of the game, you can tell that my Cyberpunk 2077 game is running basically on high and ultra settings. Now, these are settings that I ran a benchmark also with Cyberpunk 2077, but I also had it do its thing where it says, oh, here's our recommended settings. And it recommended high and ultra settings on this thing. And I got to tell you, folks, that is freaking crazy. That is crazy that I'm running Cyberpunk 2077, a game which everybody's like, oh my God, that's pushing some pixels. We got to use this game as a benchmark to how good it looks on systems and devices and PCs and consoles and stuff. And I'm running this on an Xbox Rog Ally X on high and ultra settings here. Also got more stuff. Here's the benchmark results. Now you can see I'm getting like a little bit of over 31 frames per second average out of this when I did the benchmark of this, and it's showing all the stuff that I was running it on, how much memory it was using, all the other max frames, stuff like that, resolution, stuff like that. And for me, like I said, it's running at 31 plus frames per second for Cyberpunk 2077, running on high and ultra settings and stuff. That's not bad at all for a little handheld PC gaming device that is the Xbox Rog Ally X. That is not bad. That is not bad for that handheld. You cannot go wrong, and you can tweak settings as well. As I was showing here in this one, you can see my texture qualities at medium here. Not on high and stuff. Resolution, it's using super resolution, stuff like that. Custom size. Of course, turned off ray tracing because there's no real ray tracing on at least on the AMD side. It's not really ray tracing. It's their own version of it, so I turned that stuff on. Even though it said ray tracing was on for some reason. I don't know why it kept these on. Maybe it did something. Like I said, I should have did a video of it, and I forgot to do a video in Cyberpunk 2077. I should have captured it. I'm sorry, but it ran and it looked beautiful as well. The city, everything, me racing on my motorcycle and stuff, it all looked great. I was running, I was stabbing people with my arm blades and stuff, and I'm like, wow. And this is on a handheld. And I could barely run this at even medium settings on my original ROG Ally Extreme. So that was like I'm like medium low. This is on high and ultra for settings in Cyberpunk 2077 on an Xbox Rog Ally X. So what are we saying here, folks? I'm saying wow. I'm saying wow, 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 because why not? Because that blows me away. On a little device like this, from what I was playing before and what I'm playing now, this game, Keeper, this is a Double Fine game that just came out recently from, like I said, Double Fine. It's a great game. It's a great little light puzzle, artistic game from Double Fine. I highly suggest you play it because it's really cool and calming. Maybe take a little weed or something, smoke a little weed or something while you're playing the game, because you're going to want to do that because it is just freaking crazy with the graphics. But this is a graphics intensive game with the lighting, the shadows, the colors, all that. This thing was kicking my Xbox Rog Ally X's butt. And I got to tell you, but I got it to run smoothly. I had to put it in the 35 watt mode, of course, and turbo mode for that. Of course, it's running 14 gigabytes of RAM for the game and stuff. But once you do that and you run it in turbo mode and you run this game with the amount of memory and stuff, and I think these were on medium settings for the game. I should have saved also. A lot of these games I didn't think about capturing the what is settings for it, but running on medium, I can tell you that for this game, and it looks great. Now, also, I was playing on high and ultra on my PC here, but running on medium, and I think this was running like 30 plus frames per second, it looks pretty darn good for this game, I gotta say, right? This looks pretty darn good for Keeper. And like I said, Keeper is a really fun game. Definitely recommend this game. And playing this on my Xbox Rog Ally X was fun as hell. As you can tell, the lighting, the shadows, the particle effects, everything was running really good. And not many hiccups. I didn't see too many hiccups from this game. Some people were saying they were seeing some hiccups in the game. I didn't see too many hiccups from Keeper, but yeah, this was running in the game, and I gotta say, wow, for what my Xbox Rog Ally X can do. And I know this sounds like I'm showboating, and it sounds like this is one of those things, like I'm just doing a whole advertisement for them, but you know, it does have some drawbacks to it. This is me playing Ninja Gaiden 4 on the Xbox Rog Ally X. Like I think these are on high settings. I gotta tell you, I think these were on medium to high settings, and I think it's running on 30 frames per second and stuff, and that plays really good. Now, no, I was playing Ninja Gaiden 2 Black on my original ROG Ally Extreme, and that played really well. So this is from Platinum Games. They did a pretty good job, and it plays very well on this. I gotta say, with the look, the feel, and all that. As you can tell, the gameplay is just really, really running beautifully with this game. And another game I should have really tried on and played. The one game that I'm sure a lot of people would say to me, Mr. Mike, well, Mr. Mike, why didn't you show off a little game called Spider-Man and stuff on there? And I'm like, darn it, I forgot all about Spidey. I got to put Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales on my Xbox Rog Ally X to see how well Spidey and the shadows and the particle effects look in that game, because I bet you those running really good. Plus, I do got also Ratchet and Clank, A Niche in Time, on Steam as well, so I could also play that game on here and test that out as well. But as you can see, a lot of these games, really high-end, brand new games, brand new PC games and stuff. They're running great. They're looking great. They're running great. And that's what you want your new gaming handheld device to run. You want your new gaming handheld device to be able to run these next gen, next gen level games and not have to worry about, oh my God, my settings are going to all be on super low and it's barely going to be playable. Well, here you go, folks. Here's your main tests and showing off. If you didn't see many of these videos from many other people before, this is what you're getting off of this. And I got to highly say, it looks great. And like I said, I was playing it on there. It's just like playing it on an Xbox. Because like I said, I'm holding this like a controller. Sure, it's bigger, but you got a screen in the middle. But as I can sort of show you, everything fits in my hands. And I don't got big hands. I got smallish kitty baby hands. And it all fits really nice. And you're playing, you're listening to the sounds and stuff off of it. It is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. The games do look really good. Now, because of time, because we're already this is going to be over an hour long, me talking about this thing. But getting into the next video, because we're just going to keep going ahead, talking about remote play. Now, I like to remote play off my console to my stream to my device. There is really nothing wrong, at least to me, because I did try out cloud play a bunch of times as well and played from the cloud to my device, to my Xbox, to my PC and stuff. I did not really run into anything really big from cloud play. It ran very well. It looked very well. Now note, I got fiber internet coming into my house. I got a great mesh network system. I got a lot of things connected directly via Cat 6e cable and stuff like that. So I really got a good setup going on in my house. I got like the best, almost the best of the best running in my house for networking, internet, stuff like that. So I just want to let you know, guys, you might not, if you don't have, I'm not going to say if you don't have all this stuff that you can't play it, you're going to be able to play it, but maybe your expectations are a little bit different if you're going to do cloud play or if you want to do remote play from your consoles to this thing. Now, I am playing off my Xbox Series X here. I am remote playing to my ROG Ally. This is Diablo 4, which you can technically just play on your Xbox Rog Ally X if you download it from the Blizzard.net store that Microsoft pushes you to, because they did not put a native Xbox for PC version of Diablo 4. Even though they, at the time, they owned Activision Blizzard, I still don't understand why they just didn't make a native Xbox for PC app of this game. The only reason I'm playing it remotely, which I played and beat it remotely, this game from my Xbox Series X to my ROG Ally and stuff, is because if I wanted to play the Battle.net version of this game, I wouldn't have earned any achievements out of the game. And because I'm a little bit of an achievement whore, I wanted my Xbox achievements. You don't get those with the Battle.net version of Diablo 4. So I'm just letting you know. So that's why I'm remote playing, and I remote played Diablo 4 from my Series X to my ROG Ally X. And as you can see, remote play, beautiful, very beautiful. It runs and looks gorgeously, even though we're in a demon wasteland right now. It looks and it plays and it runs beautifully, and I was always having a bunch of fun, either inside, outside. Now, once in a great while, you might get a little hiccup here and there in the network, and you might see a little bit of fuzz. You might see it go a little jittery, but then it gets right back to being crisp 1080p kind of moving there, and it's running at 60 frames per second. So not a bad thing, not a bad thing. And like I said, this is remote play, a feature that Microsoft/Xbox does not really mention at all. I don't know if people know about this feature. I know Sony pushes it a lot. They say, hey, you can do remote play of your games. And they've been saying it even more now. Now you could do even more. You could do all your games remote play from your PlayStation 5s to your handheld, or I think they said you can eventually do onto PCs and other devices. I don't know if they went that far yet. I know they were talking about it. I know I talked about it in some news articles, but like I said, I don't own a PS5, so I don't know directly. But eventually you'll probably be able to do that anyways. But you can remote play from your PS5 console games to your, I think it's, what is it called? The PlayStation Portal. Yeah, the PlayStation Portal. Well, this is not a PlayStation Portal. This is an Xbox Rog Ally X. And because it has a Wi-Fi, I think 7 chip in it. Don't quote me on it. It's like 6 years. 7. It's one of those two. It's got really great radios. It's got like a dual radio link. And I'm getting really good bandwidth from it to remote play from my console, which, I got Wi-Fi. Like I said, I got a Wi-Fi mesh system in my house. So easily being able to play it. And like I said, I was playing this outside, all sorts of stuff at the time. And it's just really beautiful. It's just, it runs really good, really beautiful. I play a lot of disc-based games that, like I said, I don't want to play on my console anymore. I don't want to play on my TV anymore. I want to watch TV on my TV, and I got a separate box to watch TV on that. So you cannot watch stuff from your Xbox Series X or your Xbox One or anything on your TV and while playing games. So that's a drawback. But like I said, I got an extra box, and I switched my switcher to my other box, which I play videos and watch movies and TV shows while I'm playing this off my console on my Xbox Rog Ally X, which is beautiful, which is what I want to do, and that's what they let me do. And like I said, it's a feature that Xbox and Microsoft do not tout. They always do cloud play, but cloud play works just as well, but there's a lot more gaming selection when I got my home console, because I own a bunch of games on my console. I have a bunch of disc-based games. I have a lot of backwards compatible games for my console, and if I want to play those games and I want to play them, mostly on my Rog Ally on my portable, this is what I'm doing. So very, very beautiful. As you can tell, it looks great, and runs great as well. And I think that was all my videos. So I'm going to go back to like Forza or something here. Let's see here. Let's go back to Forza here. I could go to Keeper too if I want to as my background. I'm just picking a bunch of videos that I'm playing here for this thing here. But yes, the games, they look beautiful. They look really beautiful. They run beautifully. You cannot go wrong on this. Now I'm talking about a lot of the goods. A lot of the goods, like I said, the feel, the look. Like I said, this is a PC, so you are going to be doing PC stuff. If you're not comfortable working on a PC, working with Windows and stuff, and you're just one of those people that doesn't want to learn or something, this might not be for you, because you're going to be having to deal with Windows. You're going to have to be dealing with a lot of different things to run this games. Now, note, everybody says, even including Microsoft/Xbox, says in the future, these console games are going to be more PC-centric going forward, and that the consoles are going to be more PC-centric as well. So either they're going to really work on the side of PCs where they're going to hopefully make that software and stuff run more Xbox-like-ish. Now, this is the first step. This is the Xbox experience. This is their first little step. And a lot of people, including one Jeff Gerstmann, I've got to say, really hates it. He thinks it's a bunch of trash. He thinks the Xbox experience is lazy, blah, 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 blah. What I like to say here on my behalf, not to really, be in Microsoft's Xbox's corner and be some kind of super fanboy or anything, they didn't have that much time going from making the software to putting on an Xbox Rog Ally X, because they just partnered at the last minute, because originally they were working on their own handheld, their own dedicated Xbox handheld system. They went with Asus to make this partnership to put it on, because they knew the Rog Ally was really a good device. They knew Asus was a really good partner, and they chose them to partner with them and put the Xbox brand on this thing and help them design this to look more like an Xbox like handheld device, and put the Xbox logo button on the screen and stuff like that, the menu, Xbox menu button, whatever you want to call it. They chose to do that over just doing their own device because they wanted to save time and money. And working with Asus, they were working hard to try to make this Xbox experience. Now, they just did this at the last minute, so they didn't have that amount of time to get it ready for prime time on that. I'm sure this took like months and months to do, but still, making software out of a flip of a hat, and just like what you would see when you bought your new Xbox or PlayStation consoles, when you get them into the house and you update them all and you go into them, you notice the interfaces are pretty bare bone. You notice they're like sometimes a little sluggish, they're a little bare bone, they're not as slick, and what you would hope for is perfect. It's never been like that. And I got to give it to them on Microsoft's part and Asus's part to make this experience as best as it can be with the Xbox user interface and experience with Windows and all that. And Microsoft willing to like push Windows, like knock it down a few pegs by turning off a bunch of services and stuff in the background and stuff to make games run better on it. Now, people also say SteamOS, perfect. There's nothing really running on the background because it's a Linux-based system and all you're running is games and the SteamOS is perfect and all that, but you can't play those online games. You can't play those anti-cheat games. You can't play a lot of things. There's a lot of games and a lot of stuff that you can't play through SteamOS and stuff yet, through I forgot what that system's called. Not de novo, but what do they call that? The PC emulator that plays PC games. You can't play a lot of that stuff on there yet. So they're going to be behind. Steam and Valve is going to be behind for a while until they can figure out, I don't know, Epic was working on some of them with anti-cheat stuff or whatever, but they're still going to be behind if they can't get those big games that people like to play, multiplayer. Now, I'm not a multiplayer kind of guy, so it doesn't really matter for me, but if they can't get those multiplayer games and stuff to work on them with the anti-cheat, I think SteamOS is very limited in its stuff. And, Linux, stuff like that, sure, you can play any game on a Linux device if you emulate it enough. Android, people are talking about that stuff, still Linux under there. But for running it on this kind of a system, this is what people are normally keen to. If you're a PC gamer, you're keen to doing this kind of stuff on a PC. So you don't mind that extra bit of wonkiness. And I got to say, it is less wonky than originally. When I got my original ROG Ally Extreme, when I first got it, that was wonky. Nothing really worked. I had to make icons on the desktop just like a regular computer. This, way more streamlined. The Xbox user interface, way more streamlined, way more crisp. It's basically using your Xbox app with a bunch of extra settings on it. And a lot of that stuff works very well. And me using that on top of with Armory Crate and stuff, and I could switch between the two of them very fastly just by hitting their receptacle buttons and stuff like that. I mastered it. I'm really, for me personally, just learning it and using it. And then when you learn the systems, then it's 1, 2, 1, 2. You don't even notice it. You don't even notice it. If it's your first time, you're going to have to notice it a little bit. But otherwise, the little bit of learning curve, I think, is nothing compared to what you want to do on this. And it's just really good. The boot up times on this ROG Ally X is phenomenal. I turn it on, it boots up like right away. I have my fingerprint reader to sign me in on the top, boots me in right away, loads the Xbox experience, loads me into the Xbox experience right away. And right there and then I can click on games, I can load up games, I can play the games right away, super fast. It is a very fast system, I gotta say. From start to loading game, I think it's very fast. I think it's sometimes even a little bit faster than the Xbox. If I'm playing an Xbox or a console game, I think loading a lot of stuff loads a lot faster sometimes than that. And that said, because, Windows has to boot up. There's a lot of stuff in Windows that has to boot up. Now, whatever's turned off in the background in the Xbox experience, there's got to be a lot of stuff in there. Now, no, you could go to the Windows desktop, and you might have to eventually for updates and stuff like that, and doing some behind-the-scenes things if you want to do some PC-like things, because it is a PC. Like I said, this is a PC. You're still running a PC. It's just a PC in your hand with a screen and a built-in controller and stuff. You know, you can use this touch screen as your touch screen keyboard and stuff, or mouse or whatever. You can use the analog sticks as your mice, stuff like that. But it's still a PC. It's not a full-on gaming device. It's basically like ATMs running Windows on an ATM machine, but they got their overlay for their ATM interface on top of Windows, because if you didn't know, Windows is running on all your ATM machines and other stuff out there. But then there's this interface that's running on top of it. That's the same thing you're doing right here with this Xbox interface user experience. And like I said, from boot up to starting up a game, I find it very fast. If there's no updates, of course. If there's updates, of course, you're going to have to wait a little bit. But if there's not, from boot up to start of the game, really fast. Updating games really fast, too. If you got really good internet and you got really good Wi-Fi, games update pretty darn quickly. And my games install pretty quickly on this device. They update very quickly on this device. I have no trouble. And bada bing, bada boom, I boot right into a game. And that's what I want to do. They even load and download and boot up faster than they do on my Super PC here. That's crazy. That's craziness. Now, I told you about a lot of the goods. Now, there's other goods and stuff, but you can read my article on that, from the sound and stuff like that. Like I said, I think the sound is just fine from the speakers. I think it runs great. The screen is amazing. It's super bright. Like I said, you can read all the rest of that stuff in the article. I want to get into maybe the down points of this Xbox Rog Ally X system here that you might not like too much. And like I said, there's always goods and there's always bads. The main bads I was just talking about, updating. Updating can be a hassle, especially when you first get your brand new Xbox Rog Ally X. It's going to take you a little while to get it all set up and running. When you boot it up, you got to load everything in. It's got to download it. You got to go get your Microsoft account. You got to download all those Windows updates. And that's a fucking pain in the ass to anybody, even to me, because there's so many of them and they take so long to update, install, update, restart, install, stuff like that. And then on top of it, you're not done when you install all those updates and you get into Windows and stuff. Then you gotta make sure Armory Crate is updated and installed, or installed and updated. And there's updates inside Armory Crate as well. If you go to the downloads and updates part of Armory Crate, there are updates. There are needed updates for that because they update stuff for the CPU, GPU. They update stuff for Armory Crate in the background for Windows to run a lot of, like, if you want to run the controllers and stuff better, they update all that stuff for the behind the scenes stuff as well. And there's a lot of stuff, the Realtek controller, stuff like that, stuff that doesn't happen in Windows. Now, maybe eventually Microsoft will eventually have those updates in the Windows Updater. I know they used to kind of back in the day, but it seems like now more than ever that third parties do their own updates for stuff. But it sounds like maybe Microsoft might be trying to get into the world where, everything can be updated in the Microsoft Update part of the application. Here's hoping. I don't know. That'd be really good, because then we don't need to have you don't have to have so many third parties doing the updates and stuff like that. Whoops, excuse me. Sorry, I'm moving myself. I'm trying to look at my video here. Sorry. Doing triple duty here. It's really hard when I'm trying to do triple duty. There we go. Sorry about that. Otherwise, you got to update Armory Crate. And then there's a third thing you got to install, which I don't think it's installed on the Asus Rog Ally X. I think you got to install it, and people do not know about this. You got to install, and you got to sign up for this too. My Asus app. You got to get the My Asus app, which you can get from the Windows Store. It's in the Windows App Store. You got to download the My Asus app. You got to install it. You got to register your product. That's where you register your product from and all that stuff. And you got to get an account, an Asus account. Trust me, this is annoying. I know it's very annoying. But once you have that, inside the My Asus app, there are updates. Special updates. I would have to say must needed updates. Like AMD driver support for stuff. Why this is in the My Asus app and not in just the Armory Crate or the Windows thing? And they don't tell you about it. I found this out for myself because I found this out a very long time ago when I got my, like I said, my original Rog Ally Extreme. I found out about this My Asus app because when there was games I could not run, and I'm like, why can't I run these games? Why does it say my drivers are out of date? It says in the Windows in the Armory Crate that all my drivers are installed, and I went on a post somewhere, and it says, no, you got to download the My Asus app to get those other drivers, and I'm like, for those game-ready drivers and all that stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck? And sure enough, when I installed the My Asus app and registered and got my device registered with them and had, got my account, there was all the driver updates and stuff that I needed for my device. And I'm like, why is this in my Asus app? So, and they don't tell you this. There's no documentation. That's something that Microsoft/Asus should do, mostly Asus should do, is provide some really good documentation on what you need to install, what needs to be done, and make sure about. So, because this is 3 different things you got to update and make sure are updated. So if something isn't working, if it says your drivers aren't working or something, or it's not, your drivers aren't updated, it's probably because you don't have your video graphics drivers updated because you don't got the My Asus app and you're not downloading your updates. This is annoying. This is horrible. I can fully admit it. On top of all the Windows updates, on top of the Armory Crate updates, you gotta have your My Asus updates. It's annoying. There shouldn't be 3 places for updates. It should be under one uniformed updating system for everything, for your whole system, for Windows, Asus, and Armory Crate, which is Armory Crate is Asus, so it's crazy. It should be all under one roof for updates. That's what needs to be made better. That's what Microsoft probably could do better. That's what Asus and others could do better. That's what should be done better, is updated. Should it be under all in one house? Very simple for people that probably are just console owners and they just don't want to do all the extra PC stuff and look for stuff and do this and sign into 3 different accounts. They got to make that more unison. They got to make the updating better of this system. It's horrible. Now, for somebody like me that's been updating computers since the early 1998 days with Windows 98, 95, all that stuff, yes, I'm used to updating computers a lot. A lot. For a lot of people, probably not, or they just don't like to do it in general. This is horrible. This got to get fixed. So updating, really big and bad for this system. Another thing, a more minor thing, and I've come to not really notice it as much, on the left-hand side of, or right-hand side, sorry, of your Asus ROG Ally device, and a lot of people have been talking about the plastic. I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear that? The plastic is a little creaky. It actually happens on the other side too, on the left side too. The plastic on the backing of the Asus ROG Ally, I don't know if it's because I took it apart, because I had to update the main M.2 drive in it, because I updated from a 1 terabyte to a 4 terabyte drive in this thing. I don't know if it was the screws. I did screw it all down properly, but the plastic feels a little creaky. Now, I wouldn't be too worried about it. The plastic is very strong and stuff, but it seems like they should have strengthened it more or made it so it didn't have a little creak to it, because that annoys people. Kind of annoys me a little bit because my ROG Ally original Extreme device did not creak like that, but this does, and that's kind of a little bit bothersome. But like I said, I even sent an article. I will keep everybody posted and updated throughout the years that I have this thing to see if anything happens. There should not be any problems with this, even though the plastic feels like that. Actually, my Xbox controller, this one, does also have a little creaky feel to the plastic on the back. So maybe it's just how the manufacturing is nowadays. You know, all this stuff still comes from, you know, China, stuff like that, you know, from all these what should I say, third world countries and stuff. So I'm guessing the plastic yields aren't as good as they should be. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that, but yeah, it's a little creaky, but you don't notice it. But it is kind of a bother because you're spending $1,000 on this device and you want something not to be creaky and not to annoy you or worry you about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's kind of a bit of a little thing on there, but not the biggest thing. Biggest thing. What I think the biggest thing, and I'm going to end this with this third one, because like I said, you can read my article, and I'm hopefully you're going to read my article on this. Hopefully you like to read, and you'll read this article at I can't even speak anymore, on OldFreakyGamer.com, where this article will lie. The worst thing, I think, about this new Xbox Rog Ally X, and I was talking about it, I had to open it to put in my new M.2 drive. Now, you would think they would make it easy, and they said it's easy. They said it's a lot easier than the original Rog Allies and stuff on updating the M.2 drives, because I did it for my original one. I gotta say, folks, opening this Xbox Rog Ally Extreme compared to my original Rog Ally, I think this is a little bit harder. A little bit. Up to a point where I kind of got a little bit more scared. The original one, sure, I had a lot of screws to unlock on the original Rog Ally Extreme. Popped it all out. I had to pop out the battery and stuff to get behind it to get to the M.2 slot, which was a smaller M.2 in that one. But it was easy enough for me to pop it in, pop it on this. This, you got to unscrew all the little screws. There's about, what? 1, 2, let's see here. Where are they all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 screws on this thing. Well, wait, 8. So, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there are 8 screws. Excuse me for that. Not 7, but 8 screws on the back of this device. Now, when you take this device apart, you're going to be taking off the plastic around the handle parts of the Rog Ally Extreme Xbox Rog Ally X device. And trying to pop it off, you got to be very gentle because this plastic is really bendy. So when you're doing it, you might want to get a little plastic smudger and stuff like that if you're very capable of updating this thing, and you got to pop it open. And then there's the spot where the M.2 drive is at, there's a little wire that goes over it, and that's the wire for the power and stuff like that from the batteries and stuff like that. Why it's over the M.2 drive, I do not know, and it's really tight, and you got to be really careful with it because if you accidentally rip it out or unplug it, it's like nearly impossible to plug back into the battery and stuff, unless if you got really good little hands or tools or something. That's a kind of a bother. So even though they say this should be easier to open up and update your M.2 drive with, that seems a little bothersome to me. What they should have did, and why I don't know why they still didn't do this and why they weren't thinking, Asus, why didn't you just have a back panel slot with like 1 or 2 US screws in it to open up the back of the Xbox Rog Ally device, like a laptop or something has had for how many years now? Because if you want to open up your laptop and pop in a new hard drive, when they had them, there was a little back slot, you unscrewed it, you popped it open, pulled out the drive, put in another drive, screwed it back in, and that was it. Why didn't they not do that for this device? That was a lack of thinking. on their part, as I would say. Then you didn't have to touch any of this other parts of the Xbox Rog Ally device. If they would have did that, you wouldn't have to unscrew all of this stuff and slowly try to rip it open without breaking anything. I don't know why they didn't think of that. And then made it clear so that there was no little wire over it. Why didn't you do that, Asus? Why didn't you just make a little opening compartment for the M.2 drive to be put in? I think that was a big, big, big no-no on their part. And hopefully in future renditions of these ROG Allies, if it's going to be another Xbox ROG Ally down the road or another different ROG Ally down the road, maybe they should decide to put in a back hatch so you can unscrew it, pop out your M.2 drive, pop in the new one, screw it back in, and not have to touch anything else on the device. Because that is stupid. Very stupid. Anybody can agree on me. And if you're not comfortable with opening up super expensive devices like this with little smudgers and stuff, and you got a friend or somebody, or if you go to, I would hate to say it, but maybe your local PC shop or Geek Squad or something, let them do it because they're more they know how to gently do that and open this kind of stuff up and pop into new drives. Maybe let them do that. And then just go into the BIOS. Go all the way to the top. Make sure you find out when you go all the way top to do the recovery mode, and then you can install your new software, and there you go. You got your new, big, larger M.2 drive in the system. But still, opening it up, a very bad time. Very bad time. And I did it on stream with one hand. I was like holding the one thing, and I was doing it with the other. You can watch me on stream doing it. That's how many times I've been opening up little devices. So I was still a little scared. I'm like, I'm trying to pop off the one side of the cover. I'm like, this is bad. Because I was worried about messing with the triggers and all the other stuff. I don't like that. I think that's a bad thing. I think Asus should have just had the M.2 drive right there and the back panel to pop it out. It would have been a lot better, a lot easier, a lot better experience. I think that was a big mishap on Asus, and they need to fix that. They need to fix that with future renditions of this device, especially if people want to pop in a 4 or an 8 terabyte M.2 drive. You never know. Maybe I want to pop in a new one down the road. I would have to tear off this whole back panel to do so, and I don't like doing that. So I just want people to be aware of that. If you decide to buy an Xbox Rog Ally X, decide to be careful with doing so. But otherwise, very solid device. The analog sticks are the hollow effect sticks, as they like to tout. The Xbox buttons and D-pad seem very Xbox-like and good. Some people were still complaining about the D-pad, but everybody complains about everybody's D-pad. On Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, everybody complains about the D-pad. So I'm not going to say any D-pad is good. I think they're all just D-pads in the way. And some people are more sensitive to the D-pads than others, and I'm not that sensitive. I do not mind my D-pad on that. So all in all, before I end this, there's 2 more things I got to talk about. One, I got to let you know, and this is a big Mr. Mike Says No on this, and I'm sure you probably will find out in why people are buying more than the other. You notice that you don't hear too much about the Xbox ROG Ally basic version of this, because they got 2 versions of this. They got the Xbox ROG Ally X, which I own, is the extreme one, the $1,000 one. And then they got the $500-$600 one that is the Xbox ROG Ally, the white one. Don't get that one. I'm telling you right now, folks, do not get that one. It is underpowered, even though it's more powerful than the Xbox ROG Ally, or the ROG Ally Extreme, I should say, not the Xbox, but the ROG Ally Extreme and stuff, the ones that I had. Do not get that. It is way underpowered. It only has 16 gigs of RAM. You're going to be sorely not happy trying to play games on that version of the ROG Ally Xbox or Xbox ROG Ally. You're not going to be having fun. You're not going to be able to have enough RAM to play with these new, more modern PC games and stuff. You're not going to have that extra CPU, GPU, threads and threads and cores and stuff like that to be able to play these games and have more power to play these games. You're not going to have that power. You're not going to have that speed. You're not going to be able to play really good. Even though they say, oh, this is the cheaper version, so if people want to just play in 720p and play their games and stuff, yeah, you're going to be playing all your games in low settings, if that. I bet you I couldn't run probably Forza Motorsport too well on that original one on that. So that's why you notice that everybody's buying the Xbox Rog Ally X, because you notice they're always out of stock now, as I hear. And Asus even was like, oh, man, we misinterpreted on what people were wanting to get because everybody wants the Xbox Rog Ally X right now. And even though this is $1,000 device and it might go up in the near future because RAM prices and storage prices are going through the roof right now. So don't expect to be any more cheaper than $1,000 and probably going to go up in price. I hate to say it. But yeah, that's expensive. That's very expensive for that. But getting the Xbox Rog Ally X, if you want one of these handheld systems, and I got to tell you, the Xbox Rog Ally X is still a lot cheaper than the Lenovo Legion Go's out there and all those other boys out there that play Windows games. The only thing that's cheaper than the Xbox Rog Ally and the Xbox Rog Ally X is probably the Steam Deck. But you got to understand that Steam Deck is how many years old now? Over 3+ years? Four? I don't know. Is it even at 5 yet? It's really old. And they're still not updating it. You could still play games on it, but here's the thing. You're going to be just playing those very few Steam games, and they're not going to be any Call of Duties or Battlefields. Right now, as people were saying, other game reviewers and stuff, and industry people were saying, is that the Xbox Rog Ally X, and I think the original Rog Ally, but I'm just going to go with the Xbox Rog Ally X, is the only handheld system right now that can play Battlefield 5. So if you want to play Battlefield 5 on your handheld, this is the only one right now that plays it. Now, maybe the Lenovo Legion Go will play it eventually and stuff like that, but right now the Rog Ally X is the winner and plays that, and Call of Duty and all that other stuff, and you don't have to worry about anti-cheat or anything else with that. Just saying. So if you're going to get this system, I highly beg you, either save up a little bit more money or please try to just buy the Xbox Rog Ally X. Don't buy the original Xbox Rog Ally. You're going to be disappointed in that. It's underpowered, under-delivers with your memory and stuff like that. And it only has 512 gigabytes of storage either on that. So you don't even have at least even a terabyte of storage. So you're not going to be able to put many games on that thing. And you're spending like $600 on that version. Spend a little bit more. Spend $1,000. You get a gig at least of storage. You get 24 gigs of RAM. You get all that stuff. You're going to like that a lot better. A lot better. Trust me. You're not gonna falter on that. You're gonna feel a lot better when you're playing now. Why can't I do this? Is it just me? Oh, maybe not. Oh no, it is me. It is me. Okay. But yeah, you're going to feel a lot better. So I highly suggest, if you're going to get the system, Xbox Rog Ally X is the handheld to beat. Now, my overall thing to end up this video, this over 1 hour video review on my side, for me personally, as a guy that played console games throughout most of my life, that loves playing PC games, but sometimes I just don't want to run my huge, super expensive, super hot, super power hungry PC, and I just want to play in my living room on my couch, but I want to watch TV or something, or if you want to be outside or something, but you want to play a game. This has 500 nits of brightness to it, so it's super bright, so you can play it outside. It plays really good outside. I would say, for me, personally, me that loves to play games and doesn't mind using Windows and stuff like that, because I've been using Microsoft Windows since Windows 3.1. This is way before a lot of you probably were even born, or if you were born and you're old like me. I'm 39, so I consider myself old. I'm getting older every day. I used Windows 3.1, and now I'm using Windows 11. I don't mind. I don't mind it. It has its horrible quirks and stuff, but hey, I've been using Windows forever, so not going to change now. I could use Linux, but I don't mind Windows at all. So if you don't mind using a PC, or if you don't mind learning a little bit, I highly suggest getting the Xbox Rog Ally X. I think it's a great handheld system. I think it plays a lot of great games. If you want to play your PC games, stuff like that. If you want to play Xbox games, like I said, if you want to remote play, if you want a lot of choices, if you love choices and you love a lot of choices and you want to either play Steam games, Xbox games, Xbox for PC games, streaming games, Epic Store games, this, that, whatever other store games, GOG, all that stuff, you can play it on this system. You can put it all on this system. Emulators. You could play a lot of emulations on this system. Put your emulation games on there. That's perfect because you got Windows, you got power, you got memory. It's got a solid base. It's made by Asus, which is a great company that makes a lot of PC and gaming hardware out there, which I use a lot of the Asus, their hardware in my computers and stuff like that. Very high recommended. They back all their products. I never had any problems with their stuff. Sure, you're going to be paying a little bit of a premium, but what's paying a little bit of premium if you want to have a great time on the go, wherever you want to be, sitting on the couch or outside, whatever. I think it's the best thing. And like I said, and like I always say, gaming ain't getting any cheaper. It's just getting more expensive. So you're going to have to just accept the inevitable future where games and systems are going to all be super expensive. So what do you want to play on? Something on your TV or something on your hand? And you can plug this into your TV too, if you really wanted to, because it has the dual USB-C ports. And I didn't even get into this. It has the pop out, you can hook up the USB-C to HDMI cable to port or whatever you got that goes from USB-C to HDMI, and you can plug it in your TV. And you can use either this as your controller, or you can grab a wireless Xbox controller or something and Bluetooth it to this, and you can play your games on your TV or monitor. So it's even better. It's even better. You can use it for that. Or if you really, really wanted to, just hook it up to a monitor, to the TV and stuff, hook up a keyboard and mouse to it, and use it as a computer. Because it is a very good, fast, high-capable computer. And why freaking not? I just got to say, why freaking not? And I'm hitting the wrong things here. Oh, boy. Because I'm trying to go through everything here. I should have had more videos. That's my problem. No, but you got a lot of choices. It's a computer. Remember, this is a computer in your hand, not an Xbox like Microsoft wants to say, but it can be an Xbox, typically, if you got an Xbox One or Series X or S console. Like I said, you can stream all your games from that consoles to your Xbox Rog Ally X. Very simple. Or you can stream from the cloud and stuff. So you can play basically almost anything. Almost. Except for Switch 2 games and stuff. Unless I'm not even going to say go to that dark territory and try to play Switch 2 games on it. You could. Eventually, maybe. They got emulators for Switch 1 games, but I'm sure Nintendo will come after you with their 20 million lawyers and stuff and try to slice your throat. So otherwise, if you don't want to be messing around with Windows and all this stuff and gaming and stuff, then I would suggest maybe getting a Switch 2. That's probably your next best bet. If you want to just play some games on your Switch 2, go ahead. But I got to say, as long as I had this new system, as long as I had the original Xbox Rog Ally Extreme, and now that I have the Xbox Rog Ally X, I love it. It was a great jump, a great leap from the original to this. And shit, I cannot wait to see what they have in the future. Now, I'll wait another bunch of years because I spent, like I said, over $1,000 on this system because I put in my 4 terabyte M.2 drive in this sucker, which you can definitely put in that or more. If they do go up to 8 terabytes, you could get one of those, depending on how much storage you really think you need for your games. But I love it. It's a great little handheld. And what do you think I'm going to do after this video? I'm going to go play on my Xbox Rog Ally X and watch some TV. Because why not? Why not? So everybody, thank you for watching this extra long review. I wanted it only 30 minutes, but I guess an hour and 25 plus minutes usually is what I do for everything nowadays. But definitely go to oldfreakygamer.com, read my article on this. I go through way more stuff on my article, all the goods, the bads, my opinions, all that stuff. A lot more than you probably want to even know about the Xbox Rog Ally X and my opinions and stuff like that. But overall, I'm saying for somebody like me that doesn't mind PC stuff, the Xbox Rog Ally X is an amazing device. I like it a lot. I love it. I love it a lot. I think it's a great little handheld, and I play it way more than I ever played my Switch. Let's just say that. And I like Nintendo games, but I'd rather play this. And I play it more than my console in general, even though I stream from my console, but I don't play from my console to onto my TV anymore. I just play it on this, because why not? And also, before I end this, if you like what I do, folks, this is my little advertisement at the end. If you like what I do, you like my videos, you like my article, and you want to support me a little bit, I'm not saying you have to, because I know the world is not very good right now financially, all that stuff. And but you think you like my work, you like what I want to do, you want me to see me do more in the future and stuff, and I want to get more new tech and whatnot. I want to invest in my little side hobby project thing that I like to consider Old Freaky Gamer and everything I do here. Hey, you can feel free to tip me if you think I'm worth it. I got a Mr. Mike's tip jar. It's at oldfreakygamer.com. You could go to the tip jar. I also got a link on top of the YouTube page. If you're watching this YouTube video, which you are if you're listening to this right now, just go to the top of my YouTube page at oldfreakygamer on YouTube and click the above link at Mr. Mike Tips and tip me a little something. You know, people have, and I thank them for it. And if you think my stuff is worth it, hey, feel free. And definitely feel free to, subscribe to my YouTube channel, OldFreakyGamer-2023. If you're going youtube.com/OldFreakyGamer-2023, or you can just type in OldFreakyGamer, which is all one word in the search, to get that as well. And then subscribe to my channel. It's free. It's easy. I post a lot of gaming videos, streams, stuff like that. So I'm Mr. Mike signing out of this Xbox, or should I say Asus Rog Ally Xbox, or Rog Xbox Ally X. Here, well, I'll do it properly. This is me, Mr. Mike, signing out, saying this is from the Asus, my review of the Asus Rog Xbox Ally X, saying goodbye, happy Thanksgiving, because this is coming out on Thanksgiving. I promised I would. It's coming out. Article, video, and all. And please go to oldfreakygamer.com. I am Mr. Mike signing out saying, see ya.